أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تقف ما ليس and do not follow a thing about which you have no knowledge. Surely the ear, the eye, and the heart, each one of them shall be interrogated about. Do not walk on the earth in haughty style. You can neither tear the earth apart, nor can you match the mountains in height. That which is evil of all these is detestable in the sight of your Lord. صدق الله العظيم.
Ladies and gentlemen, right from the onset of human existence, man has made a toiling journey and tremendous progress in the realms of socio-economic development. Since arrival into this mortal world, man constantly strives to explore and assimilate knowledge from surrounding nature to augment understanding of his own creation as well as the Creator. We, being the supreme creation of Allah Almighty, try to acquire, accumulate, and assess the labyrinth of information available in the universe in a manner befitting to our faculties of sound reasoning and impartial judgment. With the view to carry out this humongous task, we are fortunate to be blessed by Almighty with a multi-core data processor and bioelectric storage device called mind. However, to use this gift effectively, we must have sound understanding of the basic constituents of mind, its multi-dimensional capabilities, and the common yet subtle ways in which this faculty can be improved and developed. It is absolutely certain that once we are able to think positively, great things can be achieved, irrespective of the odds that confront our destiny. In this context, the importance of today's topic, the power of positive thinking, needs no further emphasis. With the view to further expand our mental horizons on this important topic, we are fortunate today to have with us Professor Dr. Moiz Hussain, a renowned figure in the field of mind sciences. He has done his master's in psychology and later completed PhD in clinical hypnotherapy. He is also an internationally certified hypnotist and Reiki master, as well as pioneer of later in the country. Dr. Moiz has also done various other certifications from internationally acclaimed institutes of mind sciences and has been conducting workshops and courses extensively in the country as well as abroad. He has the credit of training thousands of people from all walks of life. Besides, our worthy guest speaker has also appeared on numerous national and international TV and radio channels as guest and field expert, sharing his insight and research about his field as well as providing online advice. He has also authored a book, namely Pebbles on the Beach, that was published both nationally and internationally. Sir, on behalf of the Commandant, faculty and the cadets of Pakistan Naval Academy, it is my pride privilege to welcome you in today's activity. Sir, now I humbly request you to kindly enlighten us on this important topic. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Dr. Moiz Hussain. Sir, please.
Everyone, seniors and juniors and cadets. I don't know, should it be English or bilingual, or what kind of communication language you want me to talk about? Should it be bilingual or purely English? What? Bilingual, little bit of Urdu, but mostly English, right? And I was not aware of the timing. How long do you want me to talk? 45 minutes. Okay, let me know when 40 minutes are up. You know, you all of you are at a place in your life where your actions will determine your future. Just like you have a rudder in the ship. And the purpose of the rudder is to ensure that wherever you want to go, you use the rudder which takes you into that particular direction. And this is what I want to talk to you about. Your life that you create and will create largely depends upon how you think, what you think, when you think, how long you think, and what is the content of your thought. You are here today because maybe you made a decision a few years back in your life. And that's why you are here. People who joined armed forces, they made a certain decision in their life. They were inspired, they wanted to join this because it had something great to offer, because there were challenges in life, so they joined the armed forces. So the decisions that you make you what you are today. And those decisions were because of certain thought process. So I'm going to explain certain things to you. Usually I don't use these. And today I wanted to talk to you face to face, eye to eye contact. There are certain things that I want to talk to you about. First of all, have you ever heard a sentence, thoughts become things? Has anybody heard about it? No. Let me see how it works. First of all, I want you to relax. From tomorrow it's Ramadan, right? So the routine will be different. It's hot in Karachi. Most of you will be fasting, and you need that patience in you to be able to go through the entire Ramadan. So I want you to relax right now. Whatever I'll tell you will be so easy for you to understand, but there is one thing I want to guarantee you. If you understand today's lecture, you will be able to create your own destiny. So just make sure that there's any confusion later on when I sit down and you can ask questions. So first of all, let's make you relax. You are in a place where communication is of vital importance, right? Your officer gives you a command and you follow it accordingly. So you have to listen very well. And the officer has to give you precise command. So let me see how good are you in your listening skills. Should I take a test? Are you ready? Come on guys, say yes, ready, right? Okay, good. Let's see, Naval Academy cadets, how good are you in listening and following orders? Now listen carefully, do exactly what I ask you to do. Nothing except what I ask you to do. Only what I ask you to do. आप वही करेंगे जो मैं कहूँगा करने को, कुछ और नहीं कहेंगे सिवाय उसके जो मैं कहूँगा करने को, सिर्फ वही करेंगे जो मैं कहूँगा करने को. I hope that's understood. Now, I want you to raise both your hands. Come on, it's a great exercise. It will freshen you up. Aap hands on, raise both your hands. Okay, which is your right hand? Wave kare right hand. And this is your left hand, right? So it's right and this is left. Great. Now bring your left hand down and slightly raise your right hand. Now listen carefully, do exactly what I ask you to do, nothing except what I ask you to do, only what I ask you to do. This is called forehead, mata. These are eyes. This is nose. These are cheeks. This is chin. And this is head, right? So now listen carefully. I want you to inhale, raise your hand, and as you exhale, think of the people that you love in your life. Again, inhale, raise your hand. Think of the people who are very important in your life. Exhale slowly. Again, inhale, and think of your future that you will make. What do you want to do? And exhale. Now, make a hole. Look through this hole, look at my face, put it on your chin. Where is your chin? This is chin. See, you need to teach them. Thank you. What happened? You were so engrossed in looking at me that you completely stopped listening to what I was saying. Although I introduced the parts on the face, right? I told you this is chin. But you were so engrossed. And the reason why this is happening is because of television. When we didn't have TV, people were good at listening. They could sit and listen to each other. Now we only hear, we don't listen. Because we have to look. Try this out at home or wherever you can. Watch your favorite show on TV and all of a sudden move your head to your right or left. Now suddenly the voice is still there, but you will not be able to process what is going on. Why? Because you are not looking. And that is why science says that 75%, even more than 75% of our thought process is controlled by our sight. You must have heard, seeing is believing, right? So when you see it, you start thinking about it. So it's more than 75%. So it's better to look at good things. So have you heard this thought become things? What does it mean? It means that whatever it is here and in your life in the future is based on thoughts. For example, this is a podium. That's a table, that's a chair. The person who first in history made a desk or a table, where did he first make it? In his mind, right? He must have thought about something. And then he started creating it. So every creation that you see in this entire world was first a thought. And thought created things. So we need to understand that if we want a better life, some of you may join the Navy, some of you may do something else, I don't know, maybe engineering, whatever it is. But your thoughts will determine the kind of life that you will get. So we need to understand this importance of thought. Now, we are talking about positive thinking. In reality, there is no such thing as positive or negative. Some of you have done engineering, or you must be aware of engineering, right? For the entire universe to function, there are galaxies, there are solar systems, there are black holes, there are worms. We don't know what is there in the entire universe. But the entire universe is continuously expanding at a phenomenal rate. For anything to exist and continue working, it needs two equal forces and opposite forces. One force that pushes everything from outside to inside, another force which pushes everything from inside to outside. I'm just making it very simple. Even in our body, there are two kinds of currents. One is efferent and one is efferent. One that goes from the brain to the body, the other is from the body to the brain. So the entire universe to function and continuously grow and expand, it requires two forces and they should be opposite. So we call it negative and positive. But in reality, there is no such thing as positive or negative. So how do we explain this? Simple. A person who drinks or smokes, it's a very positive activity for him, right? He enjoys it. The nicotine that gets into the system, wonderful, fine. The person who drinks, fine. For him it's positive. But for others it's negative. So everything is relative. So we use a very different term. Instead of positive and negative, we use a very different term. And the term that we use is resourceful or unresourceful. Positivity is resourceful, which means when you are in that state of positivity, you are in a resourceful state. You can laugh, you can communicate, you can be creative, you can think about something else. Your body experiences that happiness inside you. You can look forward towards the future. So that's a resourceful state. And if you are negative, you have an unresourceful state. Your mind is not in your control, your body feels the negativity that you are thinking. Your different glands, endocrine glands, they are affected. your blood pressure is affected, your heart is affected, your skin is affected. That's called unresourced person. But in real life, we use the word positive and negative. It's fine. And I'm just trying to really explain that positive by itself is not positive. A positive to one may be negative to the other person. It's a relative word, right? You know it's a relative word. If you say, I am strong, stronger than who? It's a relative. I am wise, wiser than who? So the only absolute reality is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because there is no relativity there, but amongst human beings there is relativity. So thought become things means that if then you follow a certain formula, it's not just simple, right? As something you just think and it happens. No. It doesn't happen like that. In the Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, Jaisa guman karoge waisa dunga. I'm sure you must have heard about this ayah. I will give you the way you think or whatever you think. That's what the Holy Quran says. But then everybody doesn't get everything. We all think of so many things, right? Youngsters, you think of so many things, but you don't get it. So why is that? The Quran says, Allah says in the Quran, I'll give you whatever you think. Then why does it happen? Why don't I become a millionaire? Why don't I pass my exams without studying? Why does it happen? There's a reason behind it. And that is something not explained. To be able to get what you think, you need to follow a certain procedure. I traveled in your boat from Kemari to Manora. There was a certain procedure that was followed. Maybe for a layman like me, I thought, why doesn't he go straight through the waters and reach early? Why does he have to take a turn and from here? And then I understood it's because this is the way a boat needs to function. If you go against the wave, or if the waves are from your left and right and they are very strong, the boat would turn upside down. So there is a certain procedure by which the person who drives the boat knows how to run the boat. So in order for mind to manifest whatever you want health, you want good grades, you want a life partner, you want business, you want money, you want to get promoted, whatever you want, remember you need to follow a certain procedure. I'll tell you the procedure slightly later on. Let's not talk about something other also. You know, thoughts are seeds. You know what is a seed, right? You plant a seed and then you get a plant or a tree or whatever it is. We don't realize that thoughts are of two kinds. One is conscious thought and one is unconscious thought. Most of the time, we are thinking unconsciously. Let me explain this. Has anybody heard or read that poetry? मैं ख्याल हूँ किसी और का मुझे सोचता कोई और है सरे आए ना मेरे रात से बसे आए ना कोई और है. Have you heard about beautiful? Baral, right? I'm not complete. Now what it means is that most of the time we are unaware of what we are thinking. We are unaware of what we are thinking. That is why people who go into spirituality and mind development, they do something called mindfulness, which is becoming aware and being aware of every moment that you are thinking. It is called watch your thoughts. Watch your thought. It means be aware. ध्यान रखो क्या सोच रहे हो. So most of the thought are unconscious, and those unconscious thought is basically dominating. They are running your life. You don't even know that. Only when you suddenly stop and say, "My God, what am I thinking?" that becomes a conscious thought. I'm sure you must have experienced during namaz. You're all ready and you did your niyat and then you start praying and all of a sudden your mind goes somewhere else. And then you realize, my God, where was the mind? I prayed it back. It's okay. Even the great Maulanas and Muftis, they also experience the same thing. It is the nature of the mind, so nothing can be done. Allah knows, Allah has created us. He knows better that our niyat or intention is to focus on Allah. But the mind wanders, and this is how it is. Because if the mind did not wander, there would not be creativity. There would not be inventions. So the mind needs to have this jump-like attitude, jump at from one thought to another. So conscious and unconscious thought. Now it also means, first let me explain this small sentence in Urdu and then I translate in English. हर ख्याल सोच नहीं होता. Every thought is not thinking. हर सोच ख्याल नहीं होता. On an average, in 8 hours, an adult, normal individual gets over 60,000 thoughts. 8 घंटे में एक आम इंसान जो कि नॉर्मल है, सेहतमंद है, उसको 60,000 से ज्यादा थॉट्स आते हैं, ख्याल आते हैं. मगर जिस ख्याल को सोचा जाए वो सोच बन जाता है. So if you focus on one particular thought, it becomes your thinking. So we are thinking without being aware that we are thinking. And that is why meditation is one of the tools that helps you to control your thoughts and to know what you are thinking. It's like being in a room on a pitch dark night, no lights. And I don't know what's inside the room, I can't see. But if I have a torch and I turn on the torch, the light, whatever it goes on, becomes obvious. I can see the chair, I can see the table, but I can't see the other things in the room. Same thing is with the thought. The moment you become aware of a thought, it becomes a part of your thinking process. So be very careful what you think. ख्याल रखिएगा इस ख्याल को सोच में तब्दील करते हैं. Because that can be a failure or that can be a victory for you in your life. Next, thoughts are of two kinds. This may come as a surprise to our young cadet was talking about the human brain, but not the mind. There's a difference between brain and mind. Brain is here in the skull, which can be seen. People will taste it, eat it also. In Bakrid, they love to eat mutton brain masala. And the other is certain people in your life who keep on eating your brains. The brain is something tangible, इसको देखा जा सकता है, छुआ जा सकता है. But mind, we don't know where is it. So thoughts are of two kinds. Of course, we know that one is the unconscious thought and one is the conscious thought. So within the conscious and unthought thought, thoughts sprung or come out from two different places. One is the human brain. Most of the thoughts that come to your mind is from your memories of the past. Most of them. And few from the future. If you, I'm not a clergy, मैं मौलाना नहीं, ना कोई आलिम नहीं, but there's a beautiful thing that I discovered about the concept of paradise, Jannah. Amazing concept. In Jannah there is no past and there is no future. It's just the moment. Because past has regrets, pashtawa. Future has fear, uncertainty, beyaqini, awe. Jannah doesn't have both. It would mean that if you learn to live in the present moment, in this world, this also can be a small replica of the actual Jannah in your life. So most of the time our thoughts are from the past and some from the future, but never from the present. And do you know why? Whenever you think of the past, you are actually feeling old. Budapa, when you think of the past. And when you think of the future, which hasn't happened, you are a child. But the moment you think of the present, you are a young person, male or female. Because present is what is in your control. To act upon it, to do something. Past is gone, you can't do anything, you can't change it. Future has been arrived. So what do you have present? So these thoughts that have a connection with the biological part of us comes from the brain and mainly from the memories or desires of the future. या तो ख्वाहिशात की वजह से आते हैं, आपके पास एक ख्वाहिश है फॉर द फ्यूचर, या फिर माजी के पछतावे, अच्छी बुरी यादें, जो भी है वो अच्छी बुरी यादें वो थॉट्स को क्रिएट करती, पैदा करती है. सो एवरी थॉट दैट कम्स फ्रॉम दिस पार्ट ऑफ योर सिस्टम इज नॉट अ न्यू थॉट, इट्स एन ओल्ड थॉट. देयर इज नथिंग न्यू, देयर इज nothing innovative, there is nothing creative. Let me take you to another level so that then I can understand the other kind of thought that comes from the qalb or the soul or the mind. You must have seen, I believe some of the cadets are from Middle East, right? Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. Can you guys raise your hand, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia? I want to see you. Am I making sense? Is it easier for you to understand? Thank you, thank you. I wish I could talk in Arabic, but I can't. I wish I could. Anyway, all of you must have seen a lion either in the circus or in the jungle. Or you must have seen it on a documentary, National Geographic. I love National Geographic. My favorite channel is Animal World, Animal Planet, National Geographic. I love those channels, documentary, I love them because I learn from them. I've been to safaris in Kenya, in Tanzania, and I've seen real lion. Now, what is the difference between a lion who lives in a circus and the lion who lives in the jungle? The lion who lives in the circus doesn't need to worry about anything. It gets food. खाना उसको वक्त पे मिलता है. Whenever it wants, it go and take a rest. Nobody will bother it. No danger of getting fight with other lions. The lions fight a lot for territory and for they mate. Very dangerous fight. So no danger from another lion of attacking him. No danger from hyenas who are the eternal enemies of the lion. So it lives peacefully. वक्त पे खाना मिलता है, पानी मिलता है, shade. It can sleep as long as it wants. Compared to a lion living in the jungle, it has to hunt for food. It has to save his family. It has to save his life. It has to make sure he doesn't go into the territory of the other lion. It has to ensure that if he goes into the territory of hyenas, they will also kill him. And sometimes he doesn't get food for a week. Until he has a group of females who hunt for him, he doesn't get food. And if he is attacked by a much younger lion, he is badly injured. And he dies of hunger. However, what is the difference between the lion in the circus and the lion in the jungle? Would you like to be the lion in the jungle or would you like to be the lion in the circus? Thank you, but most people would prefer the circus. This is where inertia and stagnation comes in life. It's again a thought. I'm comfortable with the selling. I'm comfortable with what I'm getting. Why do I need to take a risk? Why do I need to explore the unexplored territory? Why would I need to do that? Let me walk on the same trail and same path that my others have walked. Why do I need to find a new way? Most people would be very comfortable. Why? Because they are afraid of taking a new challenge. It's again a thought. Isn't it? It's a thought, right? But if you want to be something different and special, you have to be like a lion in the jungle. For that, another kind of a thought is required. Because when you are free from the past, which is the status quo and the comfort zone that you are in, you are in a comfort zone, right? Your home is your comfort zone, your parents are your comfort zone, your close friends are your comfort zone. The moment you come out from the comfort zone, your nature of thought will change. You will be creative, you will be innovative, you will think about things that you have never thought before. Why? Because you are in alien territory. आप एक अनजानी जगह पे मौजूद हो. So you will think something differently. So always be a lion of the jungle, although it's a difficult task. The second kind of thought, one is the biological thought, which is created because our brain has got memory of the past and it has anticipation and desire of the future. This thought is a dead thought. The other thought comes from what is the Quran calls as the qalb. Qalb is not the chest only. There is something within the chest region that the Quran calls the qalb. And in the Greek mythology, they call it the human mind. You open a person, you can't see the qalb nor the mind. You see the heart, that's it. So it is a place where intuitive intelligence resides. We have two kinds of intelligence. One is biological intelligence and one is intuitive intelligence. Biological intelligence is the way we have been brought up, our family, our values, our beliefs, the different experiences in life, the first school, the first master, friends, environment, society, martial arts, forget. Sometimes I really don't understand that Islam emphasizes a lot on cleanliness. Islam emphasizes a lot on cleanliness, pakizgi, tahara, safai. And I have been traveling to all of the world, except for one or two Middle East countries like Bahrain, Dubai, Saudi, where they maintain a certain standard of cleanliness. Most of the Muslim countries are highly dirty. You go to a public toilet, you will be shocked. I was traveling from Austria. I was giving a lecture in Austria, and from there we were traveling by road to Switzerland. My second lecture was in Switzerland. When I reached the hotel, I stayed there. The next day morning was my lecture. I was told by the organizers that 402 people have registered. 402 people have registered. So in the evening, I came down to see the hall like this, right? And how they are going to make the stage and mic and everything. And I asked the organizer, how many chairs are here? He said 402. I said, what? He said 402 people have registered. I said, keep some extra. Some people will come. They said, no. Only those who have registered before the event will come. Not one less, not one more. I was amazed as the thought process those people have, Swiss people have. The lecture was supposed to start at 9, and I was downstairs at 8:45, and I was watching people coming. Can you believe it? 9 sharp. Every seat was full. I looked at the clock on the wall. It was 9, and every seat was full. The gate was closed. So the moment I started my lecture, this is how I started. I said, today I have realized why Swiss people make the best watch in the world. Can you imagine that? Everyone. And they were not military people, they were simple civilians. So while I was traveling then, we stopped at a small restaurant, and this was many years back, by the way, so very difficult to find halal food. So I survived for 15 days on eggs, bread, butter, coffee, and raw vegetable. So we stopped at a place, wanted to go to the bathroom and take a cup of coffee. And when I went into the public toilet, I couldn't believe it. It was so clean, I could lie on the floor. So clean, I could actually lie down if I wanted to sleep for a while. And I said, how come? These people don't use water. They use tissue, yet they are so clean. Why is that? Thought process. See? What you think you become. Again, let me explain it differently. Do we have a non-Muslim here? I just take an example, okay. Suppose if you have a non-Muslim, a Hindu friend sitting next to you, and you have a Jew sitting next to you, and you have a Christian sitting next to you, and you are a Muslim. So you say that, we believe in one God, Allah, who doesn't have an image, who doesn't have a form, he doesn't have a father, he doesn't have a son. He was always there, he will always be there. That's the belief. The Hindu says, well, we believe in one God, but he has different avatars. Means that he has manifestations. He comes as Krishna, he comes as Shiva, he comes as so many other things. And the Christian friend says that, okay, we believe in one God, but we have a concept of Trinity. Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. And the Jews says, okay, we believe in one God and Moses is the prophet of God. Now, four people having four different realities. You see, your beliefs create reality. Reality means something that is real to you, right? It's a reality. So our reality is oneness of Allah. And Hindu has a different reality. Christian has a different reality. Jew has a different reality. Fine. Where is this reality made up of? What makes a reality? Thought! Thought makes reality. Whatever realities that you create and the beliefs that are responsible for creating those realities are made up of what you think and how you think and when you think. How long you think. If your girlfriend leaves you, oh my God, that's the most dangerous part. Break up. When you are thinking and to you, the whole world to you doesn't exist now. Everything is gone. You are in a terrible depression until somebody helps you to come out of it. It's not the end of the world. But to you, that reality is what is it. To me, it may be nothing matter, okay, you lost somebody, fine. For example, I'll give you an example. Somebody that you know, his family member, because of corona and stuff like that, died. So you feel sorry, but you're not sad. There's a difference between feeling sorry and feeling sad. So you go to them to condole and say, I'm so sorry to hear that this person died and I wish then Allah gives them the best place in Jannah and gives you the patience to bear the loss. But you are not sad. You feel sorry. There's a difference between that. Right? When you are sad, it's a different thought. When you feel sorry, it's a different thought. So you definitely feel sorry for the person, but you're not sad. So this intuitive thought that comes from the qalb or from the mind does not have a connection with the past or the future. It's a new thought. It is completely different. Tell you what, how many of you have ever experienced, this is a very common phenomenon. Some people have more often. Then you think of somebody today, he may call you up and that person calls you. And you say to yourself, my God, think of the devil and the devil called. Shaitan ko yaad karo, shaitan aa gaya. Many times that has happened with many people. You think of somebody, maybe he'll come today and he comes today. Wo aa jata. Where does this thought come from? He never called you, he never told you that he will come. So there is no past, there is no future. It's an intuitive thought. Because somehow that person thought about visiting you. And we all are connected. Those of you who are into electronics know that if I have a wireless set right now and I put the frequency of the police headquarters in Karachi, then I can listen to the entire conversation that goes on, right? So we all have a wireless. We all have a wireless set. We don't know the frequency. And for some people, sometimes unconsciously the frequency is set and they get this message of something happening. When there was this great catastrophe in Kashmir and all, few years back, Zalzala and all, right? I know some people who actually saw it in the dreams few days before. One was Naila Jafri. She is a very well-known, talented actress who's right now fighting ovarian cancer in the hospital. She told me 4 days before that she saw this. How did she see it? Kaise? An event that has not happened. Some people do see dreams of event that is happening. That's intuition. So, when we have these thoughts which are intuitive, act upon them, write them down, new idea, write them down, maintain a diary, see where your thoughts come from, how do they lead you, what is the direction, what are they guiding you, what innovation is there, always write it down. So for the time being, we don't talk more about the intuitive thought, the thought that comes from the mind, which does not have a connection with the past nor the future. Let's talk about the thoughts that we tend to think most of the time. If I am sitting here or I am standing here, you people are sitting, I am talking to you. Suppose there is a tire burst there. A गाड़ी का tire gets busted, right? Loud sound. What happens there? Right? What is the first thought that comes to your mind in Pakistan? When you hear a loud bang, what is the first thought that comes to your mind? I'm sure all of you agree with me. We all think the same thing, right? But if the same thing happens in Japan, thought will be different, China will be different, Saudi Arabia will be different, Bahrain will be different. It means that the society that we live in and the situations and events that occur in the society are responsible for making us think in a particular way. So our thoughts of the past and the future is created because of sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. 5 senses. These 5 senses, because they are connected to the external world. हम नज़ारा देखते हैं, आवाज़ सुनते हैं, सूंघते हैं, चखते हैं, छूते हैं. All the 5 senses are involved. So the thoughts are connected with what we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, what we smell. Let's talk about thoughts that we don't wish to think. Right? होता है. Many times the thoughts completely occupy our mind. Don't get rid of it, we can't. It just keeps on coming, hammering us all the time. Especially anxiety during your exams or just before your exams, or performance anxiety, which is very common. I don't know, cadets also have it, performance anxiety. MBAs have it, doctors have it. What kind of a thought? How do you control those thoughts? Remember, the best way to get rid of that thought is not to think continuously, but to think of the result of that thought. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Many years back, I'm the eldest in my family. All my brothers they live abroad. I'm the only one who lives in Pakistan because I love Pakistan. 82, I was in America, I was living there, and one fine day I just packed everything and came back. Not realizing that Allah wanted me to do a certain task which I realized that I am doing it here. My father, our business was with the Ministry of Defence. We were very closely associated with the Armed Forces of Pakistan. I loved their uniform, I loved the discipline. I always wanted to be a pilot in the Pakistan Air Force. My father wanted me to join him in the business that we had, Ministry of Defence, procurement. One fine day, all of a sudden, I had this strange thought. What if my father dies? What if my father dies? Now, being the eldest, all my brothers and one sister, they were much younger to me. I was one who was confident, outspoken, would meet people, meet officers. And thought came, what if my father died? My God, I just couldn't take that thought out of my mind. And as it kept on becoming stronger and stronger, my entire nervous system became weaker and weaker. My appetite was gone, I could not sleep, I didn't know what to do. Instantly, I remembered one of my gurus, teacher, we call him guru teacher. I went to him and I said, this is what is happening. He said, okay, sit down, close your eyes. And whatever I ask you, you keep on telling me. I said, okay. He said, okay, now, imagine the scenario that your dad has expired. Now what? What do you see in your mind? I see people are coming at home, my mother is crying, my brother and sister is crying. And then what? And then what? And then what? And then I buried him and I offered Fatiha for him and I felt lonely and I felt scared because being the eldest, I have all the responsibility on my shoulders. He kept on taking me till for about a month or 2 months after his death. And the emotions became weaker until the thought was gone. Which means the thought that was creating those emotions of helplessness, loneliness, fear was gone. Why? Because I recognized that emotion. The more you fight, the more that becomes stronger and stronger. So any kind of such a thought that makes you nervous, that makes you weak, it could be anxious about your exam, about your performance, about your future. I know in Pakistan, we are so lucky people that we don't care about the future. The petrol prices go up, to hell with it. Doesn't matter. The patient never worries. Right? We don't worry about it. We rest everything on Allah. He tells us, do your job, I'll do mine. No, you do my job first. And this is what has happened. Apna kaam bhi Allah karega. Let me not do my work. Anyway. Few things that I want you to understand. Oh, I never knew time passed like that. If you want your thought to be pure, to be resourceful, being positive, number one, keep company of good people. People who inspire you, people who motivate you, they give you the confidence, like role models if you can. Have role models in your life. Very unfortunately, we don't have role models in Pakistan now. I remember in the early 70s, we used to have role models from every walks of life. We had role models from military, we had role models from scientists, from professors, doctors, artists, musicians. Now, the only role model we have is TikTok. That's it. So where is the future when you don't have a role model? Whom do you follow? Gone. So keep company with people who inspire you, motivate you. Read good books, motivating books. Read good books. Watch. You can watch movies definitely. I don't mind. I also watch movies, but watch documentaries. You know why? It adds to your knowledge. The nature of your thoughts keep on changing. My thoughts keep on changing anytime I watch documentary. I also watch World War II, which is on Netflix, great documentary. And I learned so much about how Germans think. I've taught in Germany also, I've taught Germans also. And it's amazing. I mean, if they were not controlled by the Americans, they would rise again as the best, topmost powerful nation. They have this engineering mind. Think of Audi, think of Mercedes-Benz, think of BMW. Think of how those cars are made. Because they have an engineering mind. Even today they can build up something, but they can't. So watch things that inspire you, learn. See, life is a learning process. You do your MBA, you do your MBBS, you do your PhD, life learning doesn't end. From cradle to grave. Process of learning never stops and it should never stop. If you want your thought to be resourceful, positive, keep on reading, keep on seeing, keep on learning new things. And that's how they will help you. Lastly, of course you definitely do exercises here, but there's something interesting about exercise. When you exercise, any walking, jogging, gym, anything, about 35 to 40 minutes, your brain produces a hormone called endorphin. It is also called a pleasure hormone. It's an amazing hormone. So make sure in your daily activity, any exercise that you want, walking, jogging, treadmill, Yoga is one of the great exercises that you should do. You can get it from Google, some of the yoga postures. Yoga actually is not an exercise, but I can't explain to you in this short time what yoga is. But certain postures you can do that helps a lot. Thirdly, just as you clean your office, your home, your room, wash your clothes, keep yourself clean, make sure you keep your mind clean also. By putting the seeds of positivity, of resourcefulness, of hope, of inspiration, whatever you can, so that the plant that comes out is positive for you in your future. Thank you very much.
House is open for questions. If you have any, please raise your hand.
Sir, you have done PhD in hypnotherapy. There are many myths about hypnotherapy. I want to ask that how is it beneficial for us?
Thank you very much. I think the best thing would come in the center and one person holding the mic instead of the mic going to each and every individual. That takes a lot of time. So they can give a line up and stand in the center and the mic can be given to them, right? Okay, lady asked, what is the benefit of hypnosis? First of all, hypnosis is now a part of medical field. It's a part of psychiatry as well as medical field. Hypnosis is learning simply to connect with the emotions that causes certain behavior and letting them go or reframing them, which actually means that like a woman has a fear of childbirth. At the time of childbirth, there is intense pain. If you take hypnosis session once a month, from the first month of your pregnancy, you will have a painless childbirth. No pain. No need of anesthesia. Hypnosis is used in by dentists. Don't need anesthesia. Your teeth can be extracted without pain. No pain. Anesthesia. It is now used in pediatrics. बच्चों के लिए. Motivation, fear, phobias, anxiety. So it's more into medical field also. But people use hypnosis as an entertainment. I'm sure you must have seen some hypnosis show. They are on Google and even some other sites where they do a stage show and they hypnotize people. And the people who are hypnotized, their reality changes. I remember I was in America when I became a hypnotist and then I became a trainer of hypnotists. So I had a Pakistani gentleman with me who wanted to travel with me. He got US visa because of me. So he wanted to come with me. Because I told him you will come back with me also because your visa is guaranteed by me. So you can't stay there. You have to come back with me to Pakistan. The next time you want to go, but not the first time. So there was a huge show done by my teacher, Bert Goldman. So he asked volunteer, but this guy thought he was very clever. He said, okay, so 10-15 people on the stage. He hypnotized them. And he told this gentleman, his name was Taj Alam. He told Taj Alam, you are a woman. You are a woman. So walk like a woman. And he actually started walking like a woman. So his reality of being a man completely changed under hypnosis and he actually thought he was a woman. So in this way, in the British Army, they have hypnotists. So soldiers were scared of, high jump and climbing up, lot of training the part of that. So the hypnotist hypnotizes them and takes out the fear. In World War II, Dr. Das Gupta was in the Indian Army, he was a hypnotist. Over 400 surgeries, minor surgeries, amputation of the toe, appendicitis was done without anesthesia because anesthesia was not available during World War II in many fronts. So this doctor, under hypnosis, conducted surgery. Angutha isliye kaatne because if you are hit by a bullet, or a fragment of the bomb or something, then it develops into gangrene. And the gangrene can, kill you. It can travel all the way up. So they would amputate the toe or one finger or wherever the gangrene has developed without anesthesia. So there are a lot of benefits. It helps in self-motivation, gives you confidence, and the hypnosis has two parts. One is hetero-hypnosis, where you learn to hypnotize somebody else, and the other is self-hypnosis, where you hypnotize yourself. Yes. Next. What forget? It is not possible. Until you have an injury on your head, you lose your memory. You cannot forget. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this brain a marvel instrument. According to science, if a person starts losing 10,000 neurons every day, neurons is the cell of the brain, right? It cannot be regenerated. जिसम में दो cells ऐसे भी do not regenerate. One is kidney and one is brain. If a person loses 10,000 neurons every day for 80 years, even then, the amount of neurons that he has lost will just be 3 to 4% of what is remaining. So you cannot forget. What you need to do is, if you have a memory, a bad memory, and you want to get rid of it, you cannot forget that memory. What you do is you take out the emotions from it. A memory only bothers you when you have strong feelings and emotions. You take out the emotion through hypnosis, the memory remains. No problem, doesn't bother you, doesn't affect you. Next, sir. Now, either you all have understood everything or you have not understood anything. Yeah, this lady wants to ask.
Sir, as you say that environment has great role in changing our mind and in making our thoughts. So, sir, how can we remain resourceful if we have any bad situation or environment? So, how can we motivate ourselves?
Very difficult to answer. We all are a product of society. MashaAllah. If you live in a society where it is dominated by mostly corrupt people, you tend to get affected, or you will be very miserable. You don't want to be corrupt, you live a very miserable life. So changing the society is very difficult. You just can't change it overnight. It takes years and years. I want you to watch a show on Netflix. Please do that. It's called Vikings. Vikings were basically very Kazakh कहते हैं, sea pirates, and 3 countries, Norway, Denmark, and this is the third country, Sweden. What they used to do is they had these long ships, sailboats, and they were so cruel. Even examples of Kublai Khan and Genghis Khan is nothing to what these people would do when they would kill people. They would raid the shores of England, and they were atheists, or they had their own religion. They were Buddhists. So they would kill Christians, burn the churches, and kill the priests. I have never seen such cruelty in my life that was shown on that Netflix series. It's a season. Today they are the most social, the most humble, the most cultured, and the most educated nation in the world. 3 countries. The justice system is so amazing. A person was caught, young man, who kills 12 or 13 college students in a random fire. The judge gave the announcement, the verdict was, we keep him behind bars until he is no longer a threat to the society. Amazing है. उस वक्त तक जेल में बंद करो जब तक इसको माशरे से खतरा ना हो. जब ये ट्रांसफॉर्म हो जाए, चेंज हो जाए तो माशरे में आ जाए. We send people to the jail, they become hardcore criminals. Because there is no system here which would help an individual to reform himself or herself. societies, they develop, number one, of education. Number two, most importantly, justice. Adlo Insaf. Any society that does not have justice or give justice is a doomed society. In the words of Ali, कुफर का निज़ाम चल सकता है जुल्म का नहीं. So most of the countries that are highly developed, you have pure drinking water, healthcare facilities, your self-esteem is not hurt, you're given respect. Are the countries that don't believe in the system that we believe in? Kufr ka nahi. So what is important is the society must have justice system, which we don't seem to have. So it's unfortunate. Let's hope for the best. Let's keep on thinking all the time. Something will happen, and inshallah, if we all collectively think, it will happen in a few years. This is the part of what is called collective consciousness. And even our Deen talks of collective consciousness. Unfortunately, the masses could never explain what this collective consciousness is. And if we were to follow this collective consciousness, which is there in Jummah prayer, which is there in Tarawih, which is there in Hajj, then things will begin to change worldwide, internationally and universally. Thank you very much.
Sir, on behalf of Government of Pakistan, Commodore Suhail University, thank you for the wonderful lecture you have delivered. You just talked in the very beginning, you talked about destiny. I think that is very important. And to have a positive approach, to have positivity, that is very important. You need to have destiny in your mind. You have to have should be objective oriented. You need to have a vision in front of you, and you need to have an end state in front of you, so that you can drive with respect to your end state which you have defined for yourself. Just today I was talking to Major Islam, he was with me, and we